good morning from the Head Toner's garage. Today is a beautiful sunny spring day. The clocks went forward as well, which means that we now have daylight until about 7:30 at night, which is great. It's my favourite time of year now. We've got more daylight, sun's out, it's really warm already. And today's job is going to be machine polish the XJR, because although it looks beautiful and shiny, that black paintwork is covered in swirls. So the plan today is get it washed, clayed, machine polished, just a single stage, just to get that gloss out and just reduce those swirls. And I'm going to show you how to machine polish, and then I'm going to slap on some of my favourite Zaino Z2 Pro, which is a polymer sealant. I'm not expecting to get every single swirl out of it today, because I'm going to do it outside as well. I don't really like polishing outside because of the elements. I'd rather do it indoors in the workshop, but many people don't have access to a workshop, and that is the reality that we polish our car outside. So I'm going to show you how to machine polish it. So we'll get it on the driveway, get it cleaned up, and let's get cracking. The biggest thing with polishing outside, as well as apart from the dusty elements, is the sun, and it is a beautiful day. So we've got a little bit of shade, and what I want to do is get the car prepared. So wash it, give it a quick clay. Although the paint is very good condition, it's in terms of there's not really any contaminants in it, but always clay it beforehand anyway. Now I'm going to use LED work lights and the sun to help me make sure this paint looks great. Obviously I'm not going to polish it in direct sunlight, but the LED work lights will let me see any residue on the panel, any marks, whatever, any hazing, and when the car is in sunlight, you then know you've done a good job or not. So the pre-wash I'm going to use, that's in this really old slow foam bottle, is Nanolex pre-wash concentrate. Looks like my snow foam lance might finally be giving up the ghost after about 13 years of loyal service. It's taken a lot of abuse, but that's lasted so well. can see when the sun hits the boot lid. There's lots of marks on there, look at that. And that'll come out with a light machine polish. This is not long been painted, this boot lid, but I'll machine polished out with a light finishing pad and a nice finishing polish. That should come up a treat. And when the sun hits that, there'll be some serious gloss there, because although that's fresh paint, all those swirls and marring, that masks so much gloss you won't believe until you see it. When polishing the car, I'm going to be working on the passenger side of the car, because this is the side that's in shade. So to the untrained eye, look at that, and that is a beautiful shiny Jag. Looks amazing. But when the sun hits it, you can see it needs a good polish, and it needs to bring that colour out. Now that it's been washed and dried, I'm just going to go around with a bit of quick detailer and a cloth and just wipe the wheels clean. Like I said, they weren't even dirty, and they're only ceramic coated a week ago, so it's just to dry them off now. So this is clay. This is to remove all the contaminants from the paintwork first, before you polish. So I've just broke off a piece of clay, and for showing you how to, for the demonstration of this video, that's not enough, but I broke it off just quickly to show you, and I'm going to do the whole car. So clay is used. This built hammer clay is used with some water as a lubricant, and then all you're going to do is simply mist the panel with some water and clay bar. Up any dirt off the paint. But this clay is pretty clean because the car is in really good condition. The paint is really good. However, the lower I go, the more dirt it will pull off. Once you've done a panel, just wipe it with a clean cloth. Well, feel it with your hand. And it's like glass. Panel that needs claying, you'll feel really rough and almost sandpaper-like. But if it feels like smooth as glass, then that panel's good, and you can move on to the next. And this is what the boot lid looks like in the sunlight now. So it looks horrendous now. And I really want to polish that in the sun so you can see it, but it's warm now, so you can't really polish that. But when it's done, it'll look amazing. And we'll take it into the sunlight to show the difference. So firstly, I'm going to tackle the rear quarter, and I'm going to work my way down the side of the car. So I'm going with the finishing polish on the finishing pad. So this is a Nanolex finishing pad and polish combination. We'll start on the rear quarter, and this will remove any holograms and wash marring, and it will get us a really good gloss. There's no real need to go with a more harsher pad and polish combo at this moment. First we want to see how the paint reacts, to the light polish, and how much defects it removes. And really, you only want to go with a heavier combination when you've got heavy swirls, which in this rear quarter we don't have. So to start with, on my pad I've got a few little blobs of polish here. The pad's dry. You can make this pad wet with a little spray of water if you want to, and that will help. That might be useful if you've got a polish that's really dusty. But for starting off, I'm just going to put that on my pad there, that amount of polish. I'm going to put it on the paint, dab it around like this. That's just rubbing the polish now into my pad. And then go back and I can add 1, 2, 3, 4 tiny little bits, and I'm going to work on half this area here, I think. My polisher speed is on 2.5. That's enough to keep you going. With a brand new fresh cloth, which I like to fold in half, and then like into thirds like that. Rough the polish off. That shine looks insane, looks perfect mirror. But when we put an LED light on it up close, we'll see if there's any swirls in it. Obviously it's hard to see in this light, but as I move along here to bit that I haven't been to yet, you will see a change. There you go, if you look around here, you can see that there. That's it. And then as we move gradually over here, it goes. So we've done something, and what we've done has worked. Once again, I only put 3 or 4 tiny little dots of polish on the pad. I'm just going to go over to this part now, and we'll try and just focus on this scratch as well, get rid of this. So I've never really taught anyone to machine polish before, but it's not a hard job to do, and it can be very satisfying and I find it very therapeutic. There's a great sense there of like making something bad good, with the right work and the right dedication and the right patience. You can get crap paint looking amazing by using the right technique, pad, polish combination. Like some people like to use a higher speed, some people like to use a lower speed, some people prefer different polishes, and for me I like to use a soft pad and a finishing polish, and I like to take my time and bring the gloss out. Where I do have shoddy paint to work with, then I switch to a cutting pad, usually a cutting wall pad and compound. So I usually use either the Zaino heavy cut polish on a Nanolex ball pad. That's a combination that I really like, and that works so well. It puts more heat into the paint, but it also removes defects quicker. I then refine with a soft pad and finish polish like I've been using here, and that doesn't generate as much heat. It takes longer to rectify the defects, but it gets rid of marring and it gets a really good gloss and finish, which on this car is really what I want to achieve, because it's not heavily, although it is heavily swirled, it's not deep heavy swirls. So my work isn't cut out here. It's a big car. The tool I'm using, the groups I'm using, the LHR 15ES DA polisher. I've had this for about 7 years, and I only ever needed a new cable on it. So a really good, reliable polisher I love, and I use it a lot. And I've also got a flex rotary as well, which is a completely different animal to use, completely different characteristics. With the rotary, I use it for different types of paint. I use it for heavy, sort of hard lacquer paints that need a bit of heavy correction. It will generate more heat, and because it's always sitting on the paint like that on the rotary, rather as a DA that does this, it's harder to use the rotary. The rotary will kind of want to drag itself off if you're not careful, if you're not using it, holding it right. It will also generate a lot more heat quicker, but it can be an absolute beast at finishing off bad paint, and you get amazing results. And I like to swap between my rotary and my DA. So I was using that DA there on speed 2.5. I was using the finishing pad, I was using the finishing polish, and I was just working the small area at a time. And by doing that, you will do little wrong, but you will get a good result on your car. But it's important that you finish the polish down, so it all goes to like a little haze that when you buff it off, it just wipes off. Now I'm going to continue on the car, the same process I've been using so far, and I'll move on to the top of this wing, which is grey quarter, and hopefully get the same result here. Hope to get the same result there as I did down here. Something I also recommend you do, say after every pass or every second pass that you do, is use a pad brush like this, Roots pad brush here. Just brush your pad out of any polish residue. Try and keep the pad as clean as you can. Generally I'll use this after every pass I've completed. Obviously in the video there I didn't. I just carried on putting a bit more polish on, but I'm only using the finishing polish. It doesn't gunk my pad up as much as some other pad polishes might, but still, you want one of those, use it regularly. You wouldn't normally do this, but for the purpose of the video, I'm going to polish a bit of this in the sunlight just to show you the difference it'll make. So ordinarily we don't do this in direct sunlight, however I want to show you the difference. With the finishing polish pad and the finishing polish, I'm also just going to add a little blob of Nanolex cutting polish as well. I don't often mix polishes, but there's no reason why you can't on polishes like that, like a Nanolex finishing polish and a cutting polish. There's no reason why you can't put them one blob of each on the same pad. And this is what I'll do on here. So it will give me a cut and refine all in one. Kind of like a cheat mode, I suppose. have a look at that. One pass on speed 3 on a DA. And that section that we just polished looks amazing. Compare it with this side. It's still not perfect because it's still got swirls in it, but that's already a huge difference. And that was one pass with a bit of finishing polish on a finishing pad. So yeah, still work to do. You need a heavier pad and polish, and refine it. But you can see the difference in clarity there. So you can see a huge difference there. And normally I wouldn't suggest you polish in direct sunlight. Well, it's about 14 degrees here at the moment. All the sun is like high, it's 12:15 now. I wanted to show you this by doing it in the sun. I don't recommend you do it in the sun, but I just wanted to show you a difference that simple polish can make. So I've spent all day out here now, and it's still lovely and sunny. It's about 4:30. Giving this XJR a good machine polish, and it's looking amazing. Really come up nice. So, as I showed you earlier on in the video, what I did with the rims polisher, I've used a finish polish, and I've also used a bit of the heavy cut polish as well. I mixed them together on the pad, on a finishing pad, and use that to sort of give me a mixture of cutting and finishing, and it's worked out pretty well. I've had to go through a few pads today. So down here I've got these are all Nanolex pads that I've been using, a mixture of hard, medium and soft ones, pretty much because I'm just going through loads of pads, and I find anyway that when I'm buffing off polished residue, sometimes it gets harder to buff. At that point I'll change my pad and I'll use a different pad and a different microfiber. So I have another yellow microfiber here. These Rag Company edgeless towels are really good for buffing polishes, and now yeah, it's looking great. Taken so many swirls out, so many light sort of scratches out of the paint, and considering the size of the car and the amount of time I have to do the job, the car looks incredible. So it's really good. It's really good. Just got to get finished off now. Finish off the driver's door at the front wing, and then I'm going to put the Zaino Z2 Pro on by hand as a sealant. So that will give even more gloss and some protection, which is going to be wicked. So yeah, it's been productive. Here's our reflection of our work light in our driver's door. There was loads of swirls in here before. I should have taken a picture actually so you can see. well, that's showing the true fleck of the metallic Anthracite Black paint now, and yeah, it's looking really, really good. I love to see that car in direct. I love to see the car in direct sunlight now. See that colour pop, and it certainly will do when we're finished. You can just see from there that the gloss levels are amazing. The black always looks good when it's clean. That properly polished black paint looks amazing. So I've now got some super slick gloss here. I'm taking it out into the sunlight just to give it a little check over and make sure that everything's all good. It's looking nice. So next I'm going to apply some Zaino Z2 Pro show car polish. So this you can use with the ZFX Flash Cure additive, or you can use it on its own. It says the best results to use with the ZFX, but what I'm going to do today, as I am running that daylight now, if I was doing doors it may be different. I'm just going to apply this Z2 with a soft applicator, rub it in and then buff it off. The boot lid's got such a wicked gloss to it now. So the whole side of the car now has got some Z2 on it. You just have to leave that 15 minutes, buff it off with a nice clean cloth, bit of Z8. That should look amazing. This is the spray seal. Love this stuff. So easy to apply and lay it on top of the Z2. These two really good products. So now we'll buff off the Z2. I've got a lovely soft Rag Company towel here, buffer towel. I'm going to use that to buff off the Z2 and then spray some Z8 on it afterwards. this is that head turner's show shine. Tomorrow we'll take this out in the sun and it's going to look incredible.